All right, everybody. Welcome to a different stream today. We're going to be starting off today's stream by discussing spoilers because we got a lot of them. And most of them are super sweet. So even though a bunch of them are more of a nostalgia kind of thing, I wanted to talk about them, and I wanted to use the beginning of today's stream to like really dig deep into what I think about the cards that we were seeing so far. In the past 2 days, we had like some insane ones, so I wanted to try to cover them. A couple of them are very interesting for Amulet specifically, particularly the ones that we got today. We already had a very good one for Amulet as we stand, like at the very beginning. Like, I think Ursa Saga is very likely to be an Amulet staple. So as far as Amulet specifically goes, nothing too crazy there. But there are definitely a couple of new ones. Particularly today, we saw two in particular that I think could be quite interesting. So we're gonna get into that. If you enjoy this kind of content, of course, make sure that you let me know, because I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are, particularly when I'm doing something that is not just playing leagues or like trying decks in actual gameplay, but discussing about this stuff is something that I don't do very often. So if you enjoy this kind of content, please let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions, of course, leave them in there as well. And while you're at it, just hook me up with a subscription and a nice little like. But yeah, okay, so let's get started. And this one, for example, is a very cool one. It's probably better for me to zoom in a little here so you can actually read the cards. May be a little bit too much. Boom. So Patriarch's Beating. 3 black. Each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards for the type chosen this way from their graveyard to the battlefield. This used to be a staple back when I was a kid, and it comboed in Goblins deck. So you would have like the Goblins deck with a Goblin War Chief. You would have a Goblin Ringleader, Siege Gang Commander. Like you could use Goblin's Leather and Scare Prospector to sack all your Goblins, then get them back with Patriarch's Beating. This was kind of like the late game card, the late game trump. I don't think this is gonna be good in Modern anymore. And we have a couple of cards that are all the classics that are getting printed into Modern. Today we saw 2 more, which I'm going to be talking about later. Not for too long, because again, like these are all the classics that are getting into Modern, but the time is just too much. Like power creep really was not kind to the kind of Patriarch Beating style cards. So that one is probably not going to work out. This one is interesting though. So it's a 5 and a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, you exile 2 cards from your graveyard, and then you return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's a Reanimator spell, and we actually have a couple of interesting Reanimator spells in this set. Particularly the one that got spoiled today, which I'm going to be discussing later. So I am wondering whether between this card that was already spoiled the other day, which is effectively an Entomb, Unmarked Grave, I wonder if we're going to see some sort of Reanimator strategies become viable in Modern. I think that they're going to be slightly, very slightly underpowered, so it may not be easy. Without something like, one of the things that really makes Reanimator playable in Legacy is stuff like Faithless Looting, right? Like Faithless Looting is one of, not only is it an enabler, but it's also like a late game way of keeping the gas flowing. So without a card like that, it's probably going to be really hard for Reanimator deck, particularly when you have like 4 tutors. Like you have 4 Unmarked Graves, and like that's kind of what you got. So it's pretty limited the amount of enablers that we got, but we got some, instead of just having nothing. I'm not going to talk about all the ones that happened here, because I have 2 different podcasts, and you can check out our discussion in both the Titan Talk podcast and the Mishra's Bubble podcast. So I'm not going to discuss those, but I'm going to discuss the one that have been spoiled since those podcasts have been recorded. So this is bad. This is also bad. This is just a reprint, so I'm not going to be talking about this one. This card is weird. We talked about it in Titan Talk, I think, but like it's a 5 mana Wilburg for a 5/5. This is just a commander card. I don't think that this is going to see any play at all in Modern, but yeah, I don't know. It's a cool card. This is probably one of the bangers of the set, in my opinion. I think we talked about this in Titan Talk, but I'm going to discuss it again because I think it's really, really cool. So, Grist the Hunger Tide, 1 black green, 3 loyalty planeswalker. And as long as it's not on the battlefield, this is a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. So what that means is that you can Green Sun Synod for this, you can Court of Calling for this, you can, very importantly, you can unearth this. So you can, you know, if your planeswalker gets killed, you can just unearth it and get it back into play. So that's definitely a big deal. And then 3 loyalty plus 1, you create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token. Then you mill a card. If an insect card was milled this way, you put another loyalty counter on this, and you repeat this process. So basically, you create a 1/1. If you mill an insect, you create another 1/1, and you mill again. I don't think the mill and insect part is going to be particularly relevant, because I don't think there are that many good insects, but just a 3 mana loyalty walker that goes up to 4 and creates a 1/1 so you can chump block with is kind of a big deal. Also, even in like control matchups and stuff like that, you're going to see like the 1/1 can be relevant. And not only that, but the 1/1 enables the -2. So you -2 and you sacrifice a creature. When you do, you destroy target creature or planeswalker. So straight up clean removal. If you have stuff like not unearth, undying creatures or persist creatures, you're going to be able to enable the -2 fairly easily, which makes it so this card is very exciting to me in Yawgmoth. I think this guy is going to be really good in the Yawgmoth deck. And then the -5, each one loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. That's you know, kind of potentially relevant, but that's not the big deal. Like these two are going to be a big deal though. The ultimate is a little bit weak, but I don't think it really matters, because I feel like the -1 and the +1 and the -2 are really powerful and are going to be enough. Plus the flexibility that you get for being able to just Chord or Eldritch Evolution for this, and then just unearth this in case this dies. I think it's a huge deal. So I think this card it's definitely gonna be this is going to be a really good one in the Yawgmoth deck, and then potentially other decks as well. This is a 2 mana 2/2, and then you can tap it to return a creature to the battlefield. I don't think this is very good. This one we also discussed in Titan Talk. I think this is just unplayable in Amulet, but I am not discarding the possibility of out there existing like some form of green storm deck, maybe like green-red storm of sorts. Seems hard. It seems hard to enable. Like you would need the triple green is definitely a big deal, because it means that you probably will need to use multiple metamorphoses. So seems really tough to enable, but potentially powerful. Plitcho with the Prime sub. Welcome to the Prime Time Stronghold, Plitcho. Welcome for the first time, actually, first time subscriber. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. I don't think this one is going to be good. Also, it is not as good as it seems. Like, it's not that all of the tokens that you get are as big. So you would get, let's say that you have, people are thinking about this with Summoner's Pact, for example, for Amulet. And like we talked about this interaction in Titan Talk, and it just doesn't really do it. So you would pact for this, and then you play your pact. That's your first storm spell. Then you cast this, and you get a 2/2 and a 3/3. That does not seem like it does not seem like enough of a payoff. Like, that seems worse than a Thragtusk to me. So at that point, I would just rather, you know, pack for a Thragtusk. And even right now, Thragtusk is not really playable as is. So Kitchen Imp is pretty funny. Madness Black though for a 2/2 flying haste. This is not nothing. I don't think that this is gonna be playable, but I mean, 1 mana 2/2 flyer, no downside is no joke. I think this one's gonna be really good. 1 mana 1/1 0/0, I guess, with modular 1, And then if a modular trigger ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, you may put that many +1 counters. So this is basically an Arcbound worker that makes your Arcbound workers and your Ravagers a lot better. So I think this one is going to be, this is hopefully going to help the Hardened Scales deck a fair amount. So excited to see that deck come back. Like I always really enjoy the Hardened Scales deck, and then with the banning of Moxopol, the deck kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. So hopefully this helps, or this is gonna be enough to give the archetype a little bit more life. I don't think this card is going to be playable, but it's cute that it exists, I guess. It's really funny that you like gain control of target spell. So like you can, I guess that you can, it's made for blowouts. This reminds me of the Deflecting Palm, but just worse. So like this is not gonna be good. Just don't think about this one. Mox Salvage is interesting. Like free spells are always relevant, and this one is an instant. This is actually a reprint from it's a new to modern but legal in legacy. Sorry, so it's free if your opponent controls an island and you control the mountain, and then destroy target artifact. Seems not impactful enough, and even right now, cards like Ancient Grudge are seeing basically no play whatsoever because there aren't really any good artifact decks. And you know, I don't know, like I guess it only takes like Hammer Time becoming tier 1, but like if against Hammer Time you're like the island clause is just not gonna be free. So I don't think this one is gonna see play basically ever. Even if Ursa becomes good again, then I think that Grudge is just a better card against Ursa anyway. So I don't think we're gonna see this card ever see play. This is another reprint. This is just a common card. Okay, Subtlety. This is one of the this is one of the big ones. People are freaking out about this card. So 2 blue, 4 mana total, 3/3 flash flying. When it enters the battlefield, you choose up to what target creature spell or planeswalker spell its owners puts it on the top of its or bottom of their library, and then you can evoke this by exiling a blue card from your hand. Okay, so this one is going to require a little bit more talking. People are comparing this to Aether Gust. People are comparing this to Force of Negation. I think that it is a little bit in the middle. So I'm not saying that this card is going to be bad, but I think that people are really overvaluing this card. Number one, I think it's very relevant that it only hits creature and planeswalker. So one of the big comparison points between this and Aether Gust is that Aether Gust targets anything. So if your opponent has a Blood Moon in play, if your opponent has a Swift Spear in play that they played on turn 1, if your opponent has, I don't know, like a Glothis in play that they managed to resolve, Aether Gust deals with it, okay? Aether Gust just takes care of it, puts it back on top or bottom, you're fine, you move on with your life. This doesn't do that. So this is... Very often you're in a situation where your opponent has a Blood Moon in play, you have your island, and you top deck the Aether Gust, and then you, on their end step, you gust their moon, and then you untap, and then you do your thing, and you manage to stabilize this way. This is not going to help you do that. This is not going to affect the board. The same thing goes for Aether Gust versus Amulet decks, okay? Aether Gust gives you the possibility of stopping a Titan on the stack, which is great, but if your opponent managed to resolve the Titan, your Gust can be used to answer either a resolved Titan later in the game, or it answers a resolved Dryad later in the game. So your opponent gets their Valakuts, you in response to all of the Valakut triggers, you put the Dryad on top of the deck, and now you are in fine shape because you fizzle all the Valakut triggers, you're good to go. This is not going to help you there. This only will help you when your opponent puts the spell on the stack. Granted, this does get around Cavern. Okay, this does get around Cavern, and now if they have access to this, the control players are going to be able to, you know, like tap out for their Jace, and then you play prime time, and your opponent's gonna be able to, you know, like evoke this by exiling a blue card, and they're gonna get you, and it's gonna suck. Like it's gonna be terrible, and it's gonna feel awful. But if they don't have it right there, like that's the only window that they have. And if they top deck this later in the game, Aether Gust would get them out of the problem. This will not. Okay, so I think that people are blowing this card out of proportion. I think that it's good. I think it's going to be playable. I think that you're gonna see like 1 or 2 copies of this card here and there. I don't think this is going to be the end all be all, and I don't think that you're going to be able to play like more than 2 copies of this card almost ever. I think that even something like Venser is comparable to this card, and I think that Venser is the closest comparison to this card even. So, and that's even saying like Venser can be better than this card sometimes, right? Like Venser affects the board. This card does not. So I think that even though this card is very, very good, people are really glazing over the fact that it doesn't affect the board. And I think that is the biggest issue with Aether Gust. Like that's why Aether Gust is a good sideboard card. If Aether Gust did not affect the board, we already had Flash Freeze for actual years. Like we had years of Flash Freeze being legal in the format. Nobody ever cared about Flash Freeze, and the main reason why that happened is because it didn't affect the board. So I think that people are blowing this card out of proportion. I think it's gonna be good. I think you're gonna be able to play like 1 or 2 copies of this, the same way that you could play 1 or 2 copies of Vendilion Click. Okay, but I don't think that this is gonna break the format in half. And I don't think you're going to be able to play more than 2 copies at most in your control decks. Yes, it's going to be fine in an Elementals deck and something like that, yeah, of course. But that's because you're getting even more value from this, or this is exactly the effect that you're looking for. So if you have like a Risen Reef going and you get, you know, like a free evoke creature, like that's a big deal, right? Like that's, you're making up for the card disadvantage that way, and you're getting an effect. But also, the fact that it only hits creature or planeswalker is no joke. Like you very often you would want to hit something that's not a creature or planeswalker against some sort of combo deck or whatnot. I think it adds a lot to Delver style type tempo lists. Yeah, I think that this is not gonna see play in Delver decks, and we're gonna be talking about that later, Mr. Yangles. I think that first of all, I think that Delver is just not playable, right? But if I'm thinking some sort of tempo deck, I'm probably thinking Blue Red Prowess, and we already are going to have a really good card for Blue Red Prowess decks. Monoscalion, this is super cute. 2 mana, for 1/3 of the mana, you get 1/3 of the Triskelion. I think that this is super cute. Obviously, not playable. Chatterstorm is funny. So you get, for half of the Empty the Warrens, you get half of an Empty the Warrens. I don't think that's gonna be that good though. It seems like you're getting half the tokens, right? So the power of Empty the Warrens is that if you get Storm 6, right? If you get Storm 6, which is very small amount of Storm really, you can get 12 goblins. 12 goblins are very often going to be enough to finish the job, right? Particularly if you're playing against a deck like, I don't know, like Death Shadow, which is the kind of matchups where Empty the Warrens is great. If you get Storm of 6, Chatterstorm gives you 6 squirrel tokens. 6 squirrel tokens is a lot more manageable than 12 goblin tokens. So I expect that Chatterstorm is just gonna be terrible, and it's just worse than Empty the Warrens. So I don't think we're gonna see this card ever, basically. Then we have some more like, you know, like Hermit, like Squirrel, Tribal kind of things going on. Cute. I don't think they're gonna see any play whatsoever. This card is a joke, so not even worth discussing. This is a 2 mana 2/2 Bushido 2. Cool that they're bringing back Bushido. Not a playable card. This one, I actually don't know what it does. So, 3 and a green sorcery, sigil library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield and shuffle. And then it has rebound. Yeah, so this doesn't do anything because it's worse than Search for Tomorrow. This one is fun though. The next one, the one that we have coming up next. I think that this is just slightly too underpowered. Just very so slightly too underpowered. So Verdant Command, 1 and a green instant. You choose 2. Target player creates 2 tapped 1/1 green squirrel token creatures. Counter target loyalty ability of a planeswalker. That's really funny line of text. Exile target card from a graveyard. Target player gains 3 life. This is a little bit too weak of an effect. I don't think this card will ever see play. Maybe if it gained 5 life, I could see it. So at this point, with 3 life, you're only countering like a lightning bolt. That just seems like not enough. If we were gaining 5 life, that means a Boros Charm and then some. So you are at least getting a 2-for-1 out of burn. Maybe we could talk about it, or like if you exile an entire graveyard, for example, that would be a little bit more enticing, or like, I don't know, like 3 cards from a graveyard, whatever. As is, I think this effect is going to be way too irrelevant, and it's just not going to do anything, which is really sad. So, moving on. This card is not very good. This card is also not very good. I don't know. I think people were talking about this card. It seems really bad to me. This one doesn't do it for me. Old Border Ephemerate and Soul Herder I think are great. Like this particularly Ephemerate looks really good, and the Soul Herder I really like how it looks in the old frame. Obviously these are reprints, so not much to say about that, but I'm all for having Old Border cards. All right, this one is interesting. Suranorv. 0 mana artifact. This is also a reprint. This is a new to modern card. 0 mana artifact. Sacrifice a land. You gain 2 life. What can we do with this? Like, I'm actually interested in brainstorming what we can do with this. I was thinking about Gitrog Monster. Good card. I don't think it's a good card target. Like, I don't think we're gonna be playing this in Amulet, right? Like, I just don't think that's relevant enough. Because you cannot like sack your lands in Amulet. So this only works in the context of you being able to get value from your lands. And I don't think there's any shell that really gets value from your lands. Like, you can suck Flagstones to this, I guess, but that doesn't really do anything. I'm pretty puzzled about this one. I think that there's nothing going on right now that you would want Suranorb for. But it is definitely an interesting addition to the format. Like, something with Raminap Excavator, Crucible, like... But besides Gitrog Monster, I don't think that we have any other way of actually getting value from our lands. So, at that point, if you cannot get... Like, of course, gaining life, it's not a way to win a game, right? Like, we're gonna need a little bit more for this one, but yeah. This one is, I read this one and I was excited. I'm like, oh, awesome, better liquid metal coating. Then I read this word right here. Sad. Sad times. Yeah, so this is just strictly worse liquid metal coating. So obviously this card will see no play at all in Karn decks, but there is the potential. There was that troll deck. There was the like Teamer with the Merfolk. The Merfolk that steals the mock stealing Merfolk. I can't remember. Sky Thief. It's something like that. But it's basically a Karn deck that would play main deck Braids and Ancient Grudges, and it would play the Merfolk that when it comes into play, it steals an artifact if you pay the kicker. So this could potentially be better in that deck specifically, or at least it could be better main deck. Okay, in the sideboard, obviously the coding is gonna be always better because it can blow up lands. But if you don't have your Karn, then Liquid Metal Torque can actually, tap for mana. It can help you ramp while you're getting this effect. So it's kind of interesting, and it can make that deck come back to an extent. So we're gonna see how that works out. It's interesting. People are taking this as if Liquid Melancholy will be banned. Something. Wizard's Head says like destruction. Yeah, I will basically never ever listen to those people. Teamfall Hat people are just, I don't know, they're just like so exhausting. Exhausting is the word. Yeah, anyway. This one is super cool. Okay, so Artifact Creature Dragon for 12 mana. That's a lot of mana. Domain, though. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control. It's a 4/4 flyer, and each creature you control gains Vigilance if it's white, Hexproof if it's blue, Lifelink if it's black, First Strike if it's red, and Trample if it's green. But triumphs. So, if you have a triumph, you can go fetch land on turn 1, get the Absent Triumph, and then fetch on turn 2, and you get Steam Vents. Boom. This guy just costs 2 mana. Just like that. So I think that there's the possibility of having some sort of Tribal Flame style deck. Some sort of Tribal Flame style deck that can use this card to great effect. And I think that like a 2 mana 4/4 flyer is no joke, and particularly giving the rest of your creatures lifelink and hexproof is a big deal. Like, these are some pretty messed up keywords to give to all of your creatures. So I am wondering if there's a deck there. It works with Dryad too. Yeah, but like I don't think you're ever going to be playing this in a deck with Dryad, right? Like decks with Dryad are not about the domain aspect of things. So yeah, this card is not good. This card is good. So we're definitely gonna see this card see play. But we knew that this was happening, so obviously I'm not gonna talk about this one. Sylvan Anthem, green. Enchantment, green creatures you control get +1/+1 whenever a green creature enters the battlefield. Under your control, you scry 1. Good old Strictly Better Crusade. Because the memes about green being better than every other color are just not over ever. We just get Strictly Better Crusade. I don't think this has a home, so I don't think this is going to see any play. But green though. Green adds to devotion, so maybe there's something there. I really doubt it, but maybe there is. I don't know. Seal of Removal, another new to modern card. For a blue enchantment, you sacrifice it, return target creature to its owner's hand. This one sounds like a really annoying card to be dealing with in Lurrus deck. Particularly because you can protect your own Lurrus from dying. Yeah. Also, like free unsummon every single turn is really annoying when you're trying to stabilize against the Lurrus deck. Yeah, this card is potentially a pain. But I mean I think it makes sense too. Like, we already have Seal of Fire in modern, so like filling out the missing spots seems kind of cool. This is one that I'm actually excited about. Goblin Bombardment, 1 in a red enchantment, you sacrifice a creature. Goblin Bombardment, there's 1 damage to any target. This is a card that I already started to do some tinkering with. So Bombardment combos, with Bloodghasts, Undead Ogre, Wayward Servant, like some sort of zombie Gravecrawler, ping all your stuff deck, rally the ancestors, get everything back, throw everything at your face kind of deal. I am definitely going to be brewing with this card for sure. I am going to be brewing with this card 100%. So yeah, this is a really cool card. certainly excited to see this one coming into Modern. So cool, really cool, cool card to have access to. I think these ones are bad. So Scourge Familiar, 4 and a black creature, Phyrexian Imp, flying 3/2. You discard the card, you add a black to your mana pool. Yeah. Like this is a powerful line of text, particularly in a set that has a Reanimator kind of things going on. 4 and a B for your enabler is a little bit too much, so I guess that this is not gonna do anything. Necromancer's Familiar, 3 and a black, bird spirit, flying, hellbent. When you have no cards, this card has lifelink. It's a 3/1, and for black and discard a card, this gains indestructible until end of turn, and you tap it. This seems like a pain. This seems like a pain to lay within limited, but yeah, obviously not constructed playable. Ooh, this one's cool. This one's cool. This is Torak. This is a classic from him to Torak. So 1 and a black, 2/1. Pro white, it has kicker black, legendary creature, human creature. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on this guy. And when it enters the battlefield, if the kicker cost was paid, target opponent discards 2 cards at random. This is the kicker cost. Look, if I understand this correctly, Lurus allows you to pay for kicked cards. I may be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. And this is 2 CMC, which means that, yeah, this card is going to be... So, basically, Lurus plus this equals infinite Hymn to Torax. Fun. Fun. Also, when you kick this effectively becomes a 4/3. Oosh. It's a bit slow. No arguments there. No arguments that it's a bit slow. 4 mana 4/3 Hymn to Torak you is no joke. It's no joke. Hymn scales poorly in multiples, but it basically it never allows you to stabilize, right? A control deck, unless they draw counter magic for every single turn, right? Then you can just start playing this every single turn. Your opponent just has to counter it because they cannot get hymned over and over again. Also, it swings for 4 if you put both counters. And then if you have a Liliana going, if you pair this with Liliana or you pair this with what's his name? Like Thoughtseize Inquisition or this spell, like this dude just keeps on growing. It's not like it's just there. It dies to Dart and Ren. Yeah, but if you kick it, it doesn't. And again, like if they kill this and you have Lures, you just get to play it again and again and again. Yeah, you can pair it with, but I'm just looking at different ways to build this deck. You have to also remember that this is a deck, this is a set where we get access to Cabal Coffers. Like Cabal Coffers is now going to be legal in Modern. For those of you that don't know about Cabal Coffers, 2 tap, add black for each swamp you control. Great combo with Urborg. So I am not discarding the possibility of a mono-black control mid-range style deck being viable now. Everybody loves Phyrexian Obliterator. Is Cabal Cover actually playable though? I mean, I'm saying that there could be a shell. I don't know if it's playable because I don't know how the format is going to look like. But what I can say now is that it's possible. Like this is a really, really good card. This is a really, really powerful effect for 4 mana. So excited about this one. I think this card is going to see some amount of play. Well, this card is bad, so don't even talk about it. Mishra's Factory. Okay, this one is cool. Mishra's Factory has a couple of little things going on. First of all, they work very nicely together. And unlike Unlike something like Mutavolt, this actually blocks as a 3/3, which is something that people who don't really play Legacy are not necessarily aware of it. But if you're using this to block, this actually blocks as a 3/3 because you can block and then it just takes a tap for it to pump itself. So this is effectively a 3/3 on defense. Or if you have multiples of this, of course, they can pump each other kind of deal. So Mishra's Factory, I think it's going to be a very cool addition, both for aggressive style decks, Taxes decks, potentially, and control decks. Control decks maybe as a finisher. It also has Summoning Sickness. Yes, just like Mutavolt. But yeah, Mishra's Factory, I think it's a really cool addition to the format. Just like another option, particularly for decks that have played Mutavolt in the past but don't really care at all. Like Taxes is the one that comes to mind. Taxes oftentimes has played Mutavolt and never really cared about the synergies. A deck like Fairies, for example, a deck like Fairies does care about the Mutavolt being a fairy, so I probably Factory is not gonna really see play there. But having access to this card for control decks and other decks that don't care about the tribal synergies is going to be a big deal. Road, search your library for a basic land and put it into the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, and then it's a removal spell on the other side. This card seems really messed up in limited, and I don't think it's going to see any play at all in constructed, but it's a removal spell for Dredge, I guess. Maybe it's his play in Dredge. I don't know. Like, crazier things have happened, I guess. But I really doubt it. Like, this is just worse than Conflagrate. Yeah, Loam decks or Dredge decks are what I would think about this. But seems very unlikely. Sweep the Sky, X, blue, converge. Create a bunch of Thopters. Pretty bad. Mystic Reduction, 2 and a blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Whenever you discard a card, each opponent mills 2 cards. Yeah. No. No. Suspend. Okay, this is one that people are freaking out about. For 1 blue mana instant, you exile target creature and you put 2-time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. So you're suspending a creature for 2 turns. People are thinking about this with Lavinia. People are thinking about this with Teferi 3. I don't think it's going to be that good. Like, it's cool. It's cool for sure. But, like, if you're forced to do this on turn 1, why are you just not playing Oust? Why are you just not playing... Even Path is potentially better than this. And I guess... I mean, we have this card in the same set, so I'm... where is it? I think this is going to be a format staple. Prismatic Ending. So, because of that, it seems like the decks that would play this card can just play any of those other cards instead, and it may just be better. If you suspend a Valky, you can cast a Tibalt. That doesn't make the card playable though. Yeah, no. Yeah, that is definitely a combo, but like seems a lot easier to just use Bring to Light, right? and then you don't need to resolve the Valky, and you need your Valky to not die, and you need your Suspend to resolve as well. Seems like a lot. Okay, out of time, 1 white. When it enters the battlefield, you untap all creatures, then face them out until out of time leaves the battlefield. Put a time counter on out of time for each creature faced out this way. So this is a really cool card. So the more creatures that are in play, the longer that they stay out of play, which is very interesting. So this is like a 3 mana Wrath of sorts, but a wrath with a wrath that I don't know, like expires, like a wrath that expires, I guess. No, the tokens stay in play as well. Facing out is not the same thing as blinking them. It's definitely interesting. I think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be bad. But it's certainly an interesting card. The thing is, like, a Wrath at 1 white is very, very low, right? Like, you don't really see sweepers at this low of a CMC, so it needed to be kind of shitty. So this is just like a way to buy time, really. But there's no way to prevent the creatures from coming back eventually, which is the tough part. I guess that you could, like, stifle the last vanishing counter. If you stifle the last vanishing counter and this just remains in play, the creatures are exiled forever. It seems like too much work. Like, that just, it's not gonna work. Okay, this ones are potentially a big deal. Artifact lands, so we just get all the dual lands, but they all order artifact lands, and they're all indestructible, and they all tap for 2 colors of mana. It's gonna be interesting to see the effect that these cards are gonna have. One thing I do like is that these lands do look a lot like the artifact lands from original Mirrodin, so I really dig that. I don't know how effective and how good they're gonna be. Like, entering tapped is a huge, massive cost. So, it's rough. Yes, they do die to Karn. They do die to Karn. If you have a Karn plus, you can just, you don't even need to get the Illuminated Coding to destroy these lands, of course. Just like it works with Darksteel Citadel. But tapping for 2 colors of mana is a big deal. I doubt this is gonna be enough to bring back artifact decks, but you know, if we already are seeing Hardened Scales decks, you know, green-white or green-black Hardened Scales decks with Lurrus see play to an extent, I could see these doing something, but I honestly doubt that even Hardened Scales decks are going to play the full playset of these, because entering tapped is such a huge cost, and they already have the Graft land, which is kind of a big deal. They're going to be big in Pauper. Yeah, they're going to be kind of messed up in Pauper, actually. They're going to be pretty messed up in Pauper because of, like, there's already an affinity deck, and there are a bunch of, like, synergies with artifacts in Pauper. And indestructible means that there's no way to answer this in Pauper, too. Discerning Taste, 2 on the black, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. You gain life equal to the greatest power among creature cards put into your graveyard this way. So another enabler for Reanimator, bad. Probably not, this is not going to do anything. The Underworld Cookbook, 1 mana, artifact, you discard the card, you create a food token, bad. 4 mana, sacrifice the Underworld Cookbook, return target creature card from the graveyard to your hand. So you can create food by discarding cards. So this could just be an enabler for Reanimator strategies. Interesting, yeah. So this is just an enabler for Reanimator strategies, I guess. It's a free card with the other... Okay. Asmoranomar Dika Daistina Kuldakar. Why? What? Why? Why? Anyway. I also love that it writes the name again in the text. That's awesome. As long as you've discarded this card, you've discarded a card this turn, you may pay black or red to cast this spell. So it doesn't have a CMC. And you need to have discarded a card this turn in order to cast it. So one interesting thing apparently is that the cookbook enables Asmora, etc. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card named the Underworld Cookbook, you reveal it and you put it into your hand, then you shuffle. And then if you sacrifice 2 foods, target creature deals 6 damage to itself. So there are some food themes here. we can create foods with Underworld Cookbook, effectively making it so we can turn any 2 cards into a removal spell. This is a 1 mana 3/3. And when it enters the battlefield, it draws another cookbook. It's cute. It is gonna die to a bolt, and we're gonna be very sad. But I hope that I get to draft with this card, though. I hope that I get to open with this, and I get to try to build around it. But yeah, it's not gonna be good in constructed, I don't think. You can violate it on 0. That's true. Just like Drydiver. Everybody wanted to violate in Drydiver. It's not good. It's definitely not good. Glimpse of Tomorrow. No CMC. Suspend 3 for red. Shuffle all permanents you own into your library, then reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put all non-aura permanent cards revealed this way onto the battlefield. Then do the same for aura cards, then put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is Warp World. Is that what the card name is? I think that's what the card name is. Yeah. So it's the exact same effect, except the original one is a ton of mana, 8 mana, yeah. Commander staple, of course. I'm pretty sure, I have no idea, but I'm assuming that this is a commander staple. So usually this is used in decks that produce a bunch of tokens. So tokens, of course, do count like permanents. So if you have a bunch of ways to ramp, Search for Tomorrow, Sacred Drive Scout, etc., you can get a bunch of permanents into play and like get tokens and stuff. Obviously, it's probably gonna see no play. Rift Sower, 3 mana 1/3. You tap to add any mana of any color. Not gonna do anything. Bone Shards, 1 black mana. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or discard a card. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. So the discard a card, I think it's a big deal because this is effectively the same as the instant speed one, the red one, Lightning Axe, yeah. So this is potentially like a better Lightning Axe because it can hit planeswalkers. But yeah, it's also an enabler. So again, Reanimator strategies. That's what I'm thinking right now when I see cards like this. I'm trying to see if we have some good Reanimator enablers. And this seems like actually a pretty solid Reanimator enabler. You can play this on turn 1, kill a Swift Spear, discard your Primetime, then reanimate it. And of course I'm going to be reanimated Primetime, like, of course. Yeah, the sack a creature is also an interesting part of it if you have some sacrifice synergies, maybe in a deck like the one that I was talking about earlier. Maybe if you have some sack synergies with undead ogre, stuff like that. Maybe you get to use this to good effect. 1 mana, 1/1 lifelink modular. This is just the worst Arbang worker. Step through, 3 blue, return 2 target creatures to their owner's hands. Wizard cycling. That's a hilarious keyword, wizard cycling. Just go cycle to get a wizard. That's really funny. Galvanic Relay, 2 on the red, exile the top card of your library. During your next turn, you may play that card. So draw a bunch of cards with Storm, but wait for it, I'm gonna kill you next turn. This doesn't seem very good to me. This doesn't seem good at all to me. Tormod's Crypt Keeper. Some of these names are just so great. 3 mana, 3/2 vigilance, and it has the Tormod's Crypt Tormod's Crypt text. Yeah, just the worst Tormod's Crypt. This is huge. This one I think it's a big deal. Imperial Recruiter, this is another legacy card that's brought to Modern. 2 on the red for a 1/1 when it enters the battlefield. You search your library for a creature card with power 2 or less. You reveal it and you put it into your hand, then shuffle. So, cards that this gets: Skyclave Apparition, any human. By the way, this is also a human. So, Meddling Mage, Freebooter, It even gets the other guy, the 2/3 vigilance guy. I can't remember the name. Thalia's lieutenant, etc. The one that bounces a creature. I think Imperial Recruiter is going to be a big deal, not only in humans but also in other sort of decks. Like this can get Magus of the Moon. This can get Kiki Jiki and Pestermite. As you can see, very non-obviously at all suggested in the art. You can get Kiki Jiki and Pestermite. It can get the guy that enters battlefield and destroys a land. It can get Toski. It can get Knight of the Reliquary. It can get Walking Ballista, Ursa. Lots of cards that can be gotten with Imperial Recruiter. This is a really strong one. This is a really good one to come into Modern. So I'm expecting this one to see some significant amount of play. Kiki core decks are gonna love this kind of effect, and I'm probably gonna be playing it in something like, if you look at my let me see if I can find the green-white company deck. So in the green-white company deck, it gets this, it gets this, it gets this, this, and this. And if we're playing the Reclaimer version, we're also getting Dryad. So this guy just gets everything that I want with the exception of Tracker. It even gets my hate card in the post-Cyborg games. It's good stuff. This guy is gonna be good stuff. I'm definitely gonna be brewing with this guy for sure. Desaprovar. 1 and a blue. Flash. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Creatures lose all abilities. At the beginning of the end step, you sacrifice this card. Combos with Lurus because you can draw a card for free every turn. It kills Scourge, apparently. Scourge of the Skyclaves. So, because Scourge has a thing like a star in its power toughness, this actually counts as a 0/0. So it will actually just straight up die if it has no abilities. So that's pretty strong. And this messes with. It does not mess with Dryad because of layers, apparently. It also does not stop. It does not stop Magus. But what it does is, yes, for example, something like Oracle, if you flash this in response to Oracle, the Oracle will not get the ETB trigger. So any ETB trigger that you want to stop, if you flash this in response to the card, it stops it. It makes Shadow 13/13. That's also true. It's a pretty interesting card. It's a pretty interesting card. 2 is it's a pretty high CMC though. 2 is a pretty high CMC for this kind of effect. So, but yeah, cool stuff. Quarian Ranger. This is actually one of my. It wasn't really a wish list. It was more of a. It would be cool if they did this kind of thing. So it's cool that they added this to Modern. I don't think it's gonna be that strong. I think that Wirewood Symbiote would be a lot stronger. But Quarian Ranger is definitely a good addition to Modern as a format, not only for the Elf deck specifically, but this card also combos very well with cards like Knight of the Reliquary and stuff like that. We have seen Scrib Ranger doing a lot of work, so this is like a cheaper Scrib Ranger, but that does not block Delver of Secrets. But it's cool. It works cool with the New Forest Urbo. Oh yeah, that's actually a very interesting thing that you're saying right now, Jagler. You can make some silly decks work that way, but yeah, I guess it also works with Dryad very nicely. Seal of Cleansing. This is a card that I'm surprised it didn't really exist in Modern, but again, like just another cool addition to the format. I guess that. I think Spike was saying that he wished that for his brought back decks he had access to Seal of Cleansing. So It's fine. It's a cool card. It's a cool card. Queen Ranger is insane elves. Yeah, the thing is that the elves decks don't really have that many don't really have that many creatures that tap for value. They do have creatures that tap for mana though. So like mostly producing mana, but at that point you are in a situation where you are kind of fighting for slots with other 1 mana elves. And it's definitely going to be a balance. It's definitely going to be a balance to see how many Queen Rangers you play and how many of the the other elves you're playing. But one thing that Queen Ranger does that you don't really see at first glance is if you're missing land drops, Queen Ranger actually allows you to hit your land drops because you can just bounce and replay the same forest over and over again. So that's gonna be pretty cool. The elves deck though do play a fair amount of non-forests. Right now they are playing the elf black green duel, and they're playing nurturing peatland. So I wonder if they're playing this card, whether they're going to go down on those kind of cards, and we're gonna see more overgrown tombs instead. But like bouncing an overgrown tomb and shocking yourself a million times it's not that exciting, Junk Winder, 5 blue affinity for tokens. Wow, that's a cool keyword. 5/6. Whenever a token enters battlefield under your control, tap target non-permanent opponent controls. It doesn't untap on its control on next untap step. Great combo with Squirrel Nest. Junk Winder, probably just a fun card for limited. Gaia's Will. This one is broken or unplayable and nowhere in between, which is really funny. I honestly don't know why they make these cards. Suspend 4 for 1 green. Until end of turn, you may play lands and cast spells from your graveyard. If a card will be put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, exile that card instead. So Yogg Will. Just Yawgmoth Will, no big deal. Yeah, if you're in the business of Yogg Willing your opponent, there you go. Yeah, there's a spell company. There is As Foretold, and there is Electrodominance. So those are the options to cheat these into play. I don't know how good that's gonna be, because you're gonna need to build your deck in a very, very specific way for that to work. Storm. I don't know. Maybe Caleb Scherer will break this. I don't know, but it seems like it's either gonna be busted or it's gonna be terrible. Does it exile itself? Oh, because of this clause, it sees itself. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Either broken or unplayable. We'll see. I'm not gonna be the one to break this one though. Soul Snare, 1 white mana, enchantment. For 1 white, sacrifice Soul Snare, exile target creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control. This is removal that is repeatable with Lurrus. It's 2 mana total. So this is only gonna work in Lurrus control decks, though. Yeah, this is only gonna work in Lurrus control decks. It's not gonna work in any other sort of Lurrus deck. The vast majority of Lurrus decks are aggressive, though. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work out. It's definitely an interesting one. It's an interesting removal spell. It could potentially be playable. It could potentially be playable for sure. General Pharaoh's Rockyrich. 1 red-white for a 3/1. Protection from monocolored. Protection from monocolored spells. Ha. So I guess it doesn't have protection from monocolored creatures. Whenever you cast a spell, a multicolored spell, you create a token that's a 4/4 golem, white and red. It's not protection, it's hexproof. Resistencia is hexproof? Huh, weird. Obrigado, sua mosquita, obrigado. Interesting. I would assume that this is protection. I guess it would be protexal. Protexal. Yeah, it would be that. Yeah. No, it just makes sense. It makes sense, yeah. Yeah, so I guess Resistencia is hexproof, and yeah, so this seems potentially reasonable in Niv, but at the same time, does Niv really need this? So you're playing a 3-mana 3/1 that dies to Lava Dart, and if you untap, then you start spinning out 4/4s, which seems great, but yikes. But yikes. This is great in humans. Is it though? How many multicolored humans do you have? Oh, it does not die to Lava Dart. That's right. Okay, now I'm interested. It doesn't die to Lava Dart, doesn't die to Dismember. Huh. Okay, now I'm interested. Of note, you cannot find this with Imperial Recruiter. Reflector Mage, Mantis Rider, Kudro. Yeah, but like, I imagine this is gonna be better. So like, you can maybe play like 1 or 2 of these, but at some point you just start having diminishing returns. Like, there's only so many 3-drops that you can play. Hexproof for multicolored spells. Here it says spells. Like, magia is spells. The translation does say hexproof for monocolored. So I guess that could matter because of Seal of Fire. That could matter specifically because of Seal of Fire. And I can't think of anything else that would matter for. The translation is wrong. Yeah, I think that magia means spells. So yeah, I mean, this could potentially be good in a Niv deck or in humans. I can see that. But it does seem indeed like a sideboard card. Maybe you can bring this in against control. You throw this in with like with a cavern, and then you kind of go from there. 3-mana 2/2 flying, 2 on a blue. Another target creature gains flying until end of turn, and then you can channel X and blue. You discard this, and X target creature gain flying until end of turn. Huh. Seems cool for limited, but like, it's kind of like a wonder. But you can, like, you know, one just all in, kill your opponent out of nowhere. Phantasma, this card is hilarious. I love that this card exists. It's obviously terrible, but like, 2 blue Phantasmal Dreadmaw. We just cannot escape Colossal Dreadmaw from being in the set, damn it. Flying Demon, 2 blue, artifact creature demon. Flying Demon's power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Terrible. Next. Oh, this one's actually big. I think this one is going to see play in Merfolk for sure. God of the Sea and Sky, 1 blue, legendary creature, Merfolk God. If you control 2 other Merfolks, this thing has indestructible. When it attacks, you draw a card, and then other Merfolk you control have a ward 1, and it's a 3-mana 3/4. This card seems really, really good in Merfolk specifically, and nowhere else. Like, if I'm playing a control deck, and my opponent goes like this thing, and then like this is now indestructible because I control some other Merfolks, And like now this draws a card. Also, this plays around sweepers, if I'm not mistaken, right? So your opponent will first need to kill both of your things. They will need to kill your 2 other merfolks. Otherwise, they will, like, a sweeper will not kill this thing. So even if they sweep, if you control this and 2 other merfolks, this still survives. And then you attack and you draw a card. And this also protects your other merfolks. Yeah, this guy seems insane in merfolk. The good thing is that merfolk is still going to be unplayable, but like it's cool that, you know, Nikachu can, you know, feel a little bit less bad about playing that. This plays around Supreme Verdict, but not damage-based sweepers. Well, it's a 3/4, so like you can't anger it, and you can't, like most of the damage-based sweepers, like nobody plays Languish, so if you have more than 2 merfolks, it's destructible. No, I'm pretty sure that the way that it works is it does. I mean, it could be that the translation is wrong. If you can draw 2 other merfolks. Yeah, the translation could be wrong, but I'm assuming that there's no way that if you control 3 merfolks, now you can blow this up. Like, that just makes no sense to me. Crypt creature gets +2/+2 and has artifact land walk. That's hilarious. Obviously unplayable. 1 black, exile target creature or planeswalker. You gain life equal to the number of counters on it. Seems like great limited removal spell. Alright, these are the big ones. I think this card is going to fuck Legacy up. Just like that. I think this is going to fuck Legacy up. 1 mana, 1/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you surveil 1. And then if you have Delirium, as long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, this gets +2/+2, has flying, and attacks each combat if able. You obviously want to attack each combat if able anyway, and you have a 3 mana, 3/3 flyer for 1 mana that turns all of your spells into Surveil 1. This card seems absolutely ridiculous to me. Like, this seems... I don't know if they're going to ban anything from Delver, but like this seems just unreasonable. Like, I think that they really fucked up with this one. Like, Delver, Blue-Red Delver is already one, if not the best deck in Legacy right now. And this is going to just... Like, you play this on 1, your opponent tries to kill it, you force it, you surveil 1, you get a little bit of value out of that, you untap, you cantrip, you surveil again, you cantrip again, you bolt your opponent, you surveil again. Like, at this point, you're drawing nothing but gasoline every single turn. You can never whiff. This card seems... Ugh. Damn it, like, this one seems... like they might have fucked up. This one seems like it might push things over the top. And I don't know, man, like Blue-Red Prowess is the best deck in Modern already. Blue-Red Prowess is already the best deck. God damn it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it just seems so unnecessary to print something like this. It just seems so unnecessary to print something like this. Is this better than Stormwing Entity? Is this better than Stormwing? Imagine you play this on 1. And then you Lava Dart, man. Imagine you play this on 1 and then you Lava Dart on turn 2. Lava Dart now surveils 2 as well. And then imagine you flip a Lava Dart of the Surveil or something. It's ridiculous. Like, the more that I think about this card is just so insane. The more that I think about this card, it just gets better and better. This card is really good. Oh my god, you're right. Crazy good with Croxa and Scourge. I mean, Scourge not so much, but this card seems insane with Croxa. Wow. Like, this card seems ridiculous. This card seems completely insane to me. The fact that it has flying, man. The fact that this has flying is just so ridiculous. It's a red 1-drop for Shadow. Well, the problem is that if you wanna play Shadow, or like if you wanna play Scourge with this, it's just possible that Swift Spear is just better. Because Swift Spear almost just guarantees the damage to have it, to say it somehow. But yeah, this card seems ridiculous. I think this may be the best card in the set so far. I think this may be the best card spoil so far. Next, Ignoble Hierarch. This one it's a Noble Hierarch but for Jund colors. Is this enough to make Jund playable? Okay, real question, chat, real question. Is this enough to make Jund playable? Is this enough to make Jund playable? I honestly think that it could be. I honestly think that this could make it could actually make Jund playable. No, this card is a big deal. Jund doesn't play birds because birds would suck. Like birds it's terrible. This attacks. This allows your Goyf to attack through your opponent's Goyfs. This allows you to Liliana on turn 2. This is so much better than Birds of Paradise in Jund specifically. Jund wants to play this card spread on turn 1. Not if you can Liliana on turn 2. Like if you can Liliana on turn 2, I think you're fine not discarding on turn 1. Also, remember when I was talking about this? Remember when I was talking about the dragon? Where is the dragon? Here. When I was talking about the dragon, I was saying about like a Tribal Flames deck with Triumphs and shit. Well, that's Tribal Flames color. This seems a lot better than Noble Hierarch in that hypothetical deck, so that's cool. That's cool. When Deathrite was legal, it was played by Jund, they sometimes prioritize it over Thoughtseize. Yeah, I do think that this is going to be legit very good on Jund. Yeah, you can go turn 1 this, turn 2 discard plus Tarmogoyf, or like discard plus like push plus Goyf or something like that. Yeah, this is obviously worse than Deathrite. But considering how good Noble Hierarch is, I don't think this is worse than Deathrite by that much. Like, Deathrite was obviously completely ridiculous, right? Like, we're not comparing this to Deathrite Shaman, right? We're not comparing that to Deathrite because, like, Deathrite was one of the best cards ever printed in the history of the game, but I think that this could help Jund become non-embarrassing. I think this could actually make Jund be non-embarrassing. So looking forward to see a lot of players messing around with this one. And again, I think that aggro decks with this card, like Tribal Flame decks, this seems better in like Noble Hierarch style like Wild Macattle or like that kind of style decks. This is really, really powerful. Like, this is extremely powerful. This is gonna be a huge deal. And then I saw that Spike was talking about this in the combo Goblins deck, the one with the Jund colors. I can't remember the name of the guy. It's like a legendary 3-mana 3/3 Goblin for 1 green and 1 green and a red, and it enters the battlefield whenever a creature Goblins enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter, so it goes infinite with the Putrid Goblin. Groomgully, thank you so much, Fontian. So I think this card is going to be a big deal. I think this card is going to be a big deal. Goblin should lack 1-drops in Modern, so it could be... Yeah, 100%. Like, you were forced to play Skirk Prospector sometimes in your Goblins deck because it was so bad. Like, you just didn't have options. But yeah, this card is legit. This card is legit, and I have high hopes for this one. Lonis Cryptozoologist. Zoologist? Whatever. One blue, green, 1/2. Whenever another non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, you investigate. So that is, you create a clue token. Tap, sacrifice X clues. Target opponent reveals the top X cards of the library. You may put a non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield under your control. That player puts the rest of the bottom of the library in a random order. Yeah, this seems bad. Anyway, I don't like this card too much. Maybe it says non-token though, so this is not gonna do anything. Yeah, this is just bad. 1 and a blue, 1/3. This cannot be blocked, and gets +1/+0 whenever you control 3 or more artifacts. So this is Metalcraft. Maestria con Metais. Bad. Arcbound, well, 3 and a red. Modular 2 gets +1/+0. Fire breeding. Okay, this guy. I don't know if you listen to the Mishra's Babel podcast. While we were recording that podcast, this card was spoiled, and I kind of freaked out about it. I thought that it was insane. Void Mirror, 2 mana. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no colored mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. So I freaked out about this card. I thought that it was insane, that it was a huge hit for Tron and Mono Green Tron, etc. Then the more I read about the card and the more that I envisioned the scenarios where this card would be played, I just think that this card is just not playable. So I just think that it's really, really bad. Particularly because it's extremely narrow and it's only Tron hate, basically. Like, yes, you can stop a Force of Negation or Force of Vigor or whatever. Like, you can stop free spells. That still seems bad. Well, this is good. This is good Tron hate. There's bad Tron hate, and then there is completely fucked up Tron hate. And this is very good, very fucked up Tron hate. So, what do you need? What do you need to kill Tron? Keep them off Tron. Keep them off Tron. Then kill them quickly. Those are the 2 things that you need. So, can I interest you in 3 mana red for a 4/4 flyer that costs 1 less to cast for each land your opponents control that could produce colorless mana? So any Tron land your opponent has, this costs 1 less, meaning that if they go Tron land, then this costs 3. So if your opponent goes turn 1 Tron land, you go turn 1 Utopia Sprawl or Arbor Elf. Your opponent goes turn 2 Tron land, you can cast this on turn 2, and you have a fucking 4/4 flyer that when it enters the battlefield, you destroy target non-basic lanes. This is Tron hate done right. If you wanted to hate on Tron, this is how you do it. If you wanted to say fuck Tron, you print cards like this one, okay? So now that your opponent is back a land, you have a fucking 4/4 flyer, and you play. This card is so ridiculous. This card is so ridiculous. This is insane. It trades with a Thought-Knot Seer. Let's say that somehow they manage to like still be able to do something. You can just kill them in a couple of turns, or you just trade with a Thought-Knot. This card is good. Like, this is how you make anti-Tron hate. Also, Amulet has a bunch of lands that tap for colorless. I am not excited for this card. I am not excited for this card to see play in Ponza decks, because this is gonna kill us really fast, folks. This is going to kill us very, very, very quickly. This card is messed up. I don't know how many of this card Ponza is gonna play, but I would not be surprised if they have like between 2 and 4, particularly in post-Cyber League games. And this card does not seem beatable for us. Cavern of Souls counts. Slayer Stronghold. Like if you go through the Amulet deck list, I'm just grabbing any random Amulet deck list. This counts. This counts. This counts. Both of these count. So it's not like a million of them, but even if they cast this for 4, that's really hard for us to beat, folks. This is really hard for us to beat. This is going to be a pain. This is going to be a pain. Next, Flame Rift. This is big deal. This is a big deal. Burn has been splashing for Boros Charm for years because they wanted a 2-mana deal 4 effect, and now they have it. Now they have it for 1 colorless and 1 red. This card is going to be a big deal. This is also gonna, yeah, definitely for shadow decks. I can see black-red shadow decks playing Flame Rifts in the main deck to enable their shadows. I don't know if in Grix is that shadow, but definitely in black-red shadow with like Monastery Swift Spears, potentially this guy, throwing some Scourges in there. The black-red shadow that was showing up at one point with like Croxa and Luros and stuff. That's gonna be this. I think it's gonna be a big deal in that deck specifically. So. Yeah, if you go turn 2 this and then you drop a Scourge, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good very often. So this card is a big deal. I think this card is gonna be a big deal. And now we're looking at the cards that I personally have not seen. Up until here, I had seen these cards before, so I was just talking about them. So now I'm gonna be reading with you folks. So 3 white and a black. Sorcery, choose 1, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, or return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Reanimator spell, probably not gonna see any constructed play, but they're really pushing the Reanimator strategy in limited, which is interesting. Harmonic Prodigy, 1 in red for 1/3 prowess. If an ability of a shaman or another wizard you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. I assume that Swift Spear, Soulscore Mage, those guys are either wizards or shamans. 2 mana though. 2 mana is a deal breaker, I assume. Yeah, I think that this is gonna be. I don't think this is gonna be playable in prowess. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be playable in prowess. 2 mana, no haste is too much of a downside, unfortunately. Like that is how high the bar. That is how high the bar for this card for prowess is. Like that's how busted the prowess cards are, that we see these cards just like, yeah, this is not playable in prowess. A deck with like shamans or wizards that is just like busted, like this card is just not good enough to see play in that deck. That is reality that we live in. Crazy. Shaman Tribal has some powerful EDBs. Yeah, that's true. And there's a Shaman Lord too, which is interesting. So maybe we'll see play there. I honestly doubt it because this itself is not a shaman. Yeah, I don't think that this is gonna see any play. But again, this is what you want though, right? This is exactly what you want. You want to create cards that are gonna make people like think. Like people are thinking, for example, right now, Rage Forger or Burning Tree Emissary. Like people are thinking about those cards because of this. I still think that it's not gonna be good enough, and I still think that people are gonna brew with this and they're gonna have fun trying to figure out how to make those cards work. So that is exactly what you want to be printing, right? Like those are the cards that you want to be printing, like not busted, but that make you think, right? And that I think that's awesome. Anyway. 2 on the red, instant, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card, put the revealed card on the bottom, the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. When you reveal a non-land card this way, this thing deals damage equal to that card's mana value to any target. So you want to have a deck with a bunch of lands, I guess? Oh no. Okay, I was reading it wrong. I was thinking that you deal the damage, equal to the revealed cards, but no. You actually want to reveal. Okay, so this is this combos with Draco then. So that is the combo with the dragon that we looked at earlier. So that's the thing. So you brainstone, you put Draco on top, and then you have a calibrated blast, and then you dome your opponent for 12. There was actually, back in the day, I remember there being, I think it was Kaboom, the name of the card. I think it was Kaboom. Yeah. This is the card. So it would do exactly that. It would brainstorm the original Draco to the top of your opponent's deck. This is the original Draco for those that you don't know. 16 mana. This is from Plane Shift. So that was the combo. I remember a friend of mine back in my Argentinian LGS had this combo. So he would brainstorm the cards to the top, and he would put Draco on top, then he would Kaboom, and he would dome you for 16. Like that was the combo. And then he has flashback, so there you go. When this enters the battlefield, 4 green 6/4. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2 foods. Basic land cycling. Limited, whatever. 3 red at the beginning of combat on your turn. Target creature you control gets +2/+0. Basic land cycling. I'm trying to see these cards in limited. I think you would probably play this in limited, and you would not play this in limited. So many basic land cycling cards. 3 black, enchanted creature gets -4/-4. Yeah, you would definitely play this one in limited. Mental Journey, 4 blue, instant draw 3. You would definitely play this one in limited. And Landscaper Colors, 5 white, 4/6. When it is battlefield, put target card from an opponent's graveyard on the bottom of their library. Basic land cycling. I don't know if you would play this in limited. Yeah, this is a limited cycle. We know about this one. We know about this one. We don't know about this one. Let's see what's going. Gifts on the Fae. 2 and a green enchantment. The beginning of each end step, if you cast a creature and a non-creature spell this turn, create a clue token, a food token, and a treasure token. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Seems fun to try to make work in limited. Greed. 3 and a black enchantment. This is a new to modern card. Black, pay to life, draw a card. So you know what this combos with, huh? This combos with Cabal Coffers. This combos with freaking Corrupt. And then you can turn those cards into that life into cards. Whew. Fire. Gift of the Fae may be good with Embryo and Ursa. Well, but you need to play a creature, right? Seems hard to play a creature. Yeah, it's probably not gonna work with this Shadow. If you Bloodbraid into Gift of the Fae, you instantly trigger it. No, you don't. This triggers on... Oh, no, it's end step. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. It's still bad, obviously, but... Why did we go all the way to the bottom here? That's weird. Okay, this card. Feast of Sanity. 3 and a black enchantment. Whenever you discard a card, deal 1 damage to any target and you gain 1 life. I'm thinking the draw 3, both players draw 3 and then discard 3, and then you turn that into a lightning helix. It's kind of cute. Probably not very good. Persist. 1 black sorcery. Target a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard. Return it to the battlefield with a plus card. Okay. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. Now we are talking. So we put a prime time in the graveyard with this card. And now we have an actually good reanimate spell. Alright. Alright. Talk to me. Talk to me. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Resurrect Blue Gear Hulk, flashback this again, and resurrect another. No. I assume that this is a sorcery. Yeah. So Blue Gear Hulk doesn't touch this. They're both 2 mana, so you can play a 2 mana transmute card for consistency. That's true. And the 2 mana, so that would be like blue-black Reanimator of sorts. We may actually have a Reanimator deck in Modern. That's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it seems like we may be in a situation, we may be in a spot where at least we're close to having a legit reanimation strategy. Bubble Hulk will be guess. Yeah, well, that's the obvious way to go, right? But the thing is that you actually want footstep of the Gorios because for Protean Hulk to kill, you need for it to die, right? So this doesn't put the creature into the graveyard. This puts the creature just into play. But for 2 mana, this is super strong. This is super, super strong. Played in Oops. I don't think that you need to. Got Suspend and Persist, Cycle Alert? I doubt it. I think it's cool for us to have Reanimator in Modern though. Like that's a kind of strategy that appeals to some people that we just don't have access to in Modern. The obvious target is Reanimator. I mean, that's the first place where I would go, obviously. I think that Grave Titan probably would work better. Because you have to, like this, both cards target non-legendaries. So you have to keep that in mind. This card literally persists the creature. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Sire of Sanity and Chancellor of the Annex. Yeah, those are good options. And then Tidespout Tyrant. Those are good ideas. Inkwell. Well, Inkwell doesn't really work, right? Like Inkwell is great because it kills in 3 turns. But if you reanimate Inkwell with a -1/-1 counter, then it needs 4 turns to kill. So that's probably not a good idea. Ashen Rider is a good one. Ashen Rider is a good one. And you're paying no life for this. Blightsteel does work because it's a 10/10. But it's gonna be no, Blightsteel shuffles itself. Blightsteel doesn't work. Blightsteel shuffle itself. Sun Titan? Well, Sun Titan is gonna blow up your own lands too. Ashen Rider pitches to Grief. Okay, now we're talking. Yeah, I think Ashen Rider is a really good one. Ashen Rider seems excellent. So I think Ashen Rider, Grave Titan are gonna be the interesting ones. We're still lacking enablers, though. We're still lacking enablers. Sun Titan doesn't destroy your land. Well, Sun Titan doesn't do anything. Oh, I meant you said. I thought you said Sundering Titan. Yeah. No, yeah, Sun Titan is gonna be bad. Sun Titan just wouldn't work in this deck. Like, you wouldn't have big stuff. Sire of Insanity is a big one for sure. Sire of Insanity works. Sylvan Primordial and Terastodon are both good ideas. Yeah, you have some stuff. You have some stuff that you can do. I think we're going to be a little bit shorter on enablers, though. I feel like we're going to be a little bit short on enablers. Oh, the new Angel. Yeah. Well, this card, I think it's going to be... Yeah, I guess... Yeah, how did I miss that? I forgot about this card, but... this card. I think this card is going to be messed up to reanimate. 4 white, 7/7. When it's the battlefield, you choose a creature type. You and creatures you control have protection from the chosen card type. Boom. Name creatures. GG. Yeah, you're going to have to thought this yourself. Honestly, big deal that Grief doesn't target... You cannot target yourself with... big deal that you cannot target yourself with Grief. Yeah, this card is good. This card is legit. I hope that it's his play. Fabricante da Academia. Builder of the Academy or something? 3 mana, 1/3. Whenever artifact creature... If you would create 1 token of clue, food, or treasure, instead of that, you create 1 of each. Probably like a commander card or whatever. Constable of the Realm, 4 and a white, 3/3, Renown 2. Whenever 1 or more possible counters are put on this thing, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent until this leaves the battlefield. This is pretty good unlimited. 2, red, white, black, Piru the Volatile. Flying lifelink, legendary creature, Elder Dragon, 7/7. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice this unless you play red, white, black. When it dies, it deals 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. Ha, that's cool. So, if you have this in limited, you just win. That sounds fun. So, you either have a 7/7 flying lifelink, which is effectively unraceable, or you get a sweeper. Fun. Oh, and you gain a ton of life. That's hilarious because it has lifelink. That's really funny. That's really funny. Obviously, it's 8 mana, right? So, like, it's probably going to be pretty hard to cast. Upheaval. 4 blue, return all permanents to their owner's hand and Mirari's Wake. 3 green-white enchantment. Creatures you control gain +1/+1. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produced. Okay, so these two, I had seen these two. These are just as when I started this video and I was talking about Patriarch's beating and how cards that were super sweet back in the day, but the fire philosophy of design has really not been kind to them. This is what we got with both of these. I think that both of these were super sweet back in the day. Awesome design, super fun cards. Probably Upheaval not so much fun as it was just powerful. But yeah, I don't think these are going to be playable at all. I think that some people, just like me, who are boomers and they really want to resolve these cards once again, are going to try to brew with them, just like I brewed with Astral Drift when the first Modern Horizons came out. Just like what I brewed with those cards, I'm going to be brewing with these cards. They're going to be bad. They're going to be really bad. I'm going to lose a bunch of tickets playing with these cards. It's going to be sad, but I'm going to be doing it. If you value your tickets, then I would strongly recommend and advise against doing that. But cool that this exists. Legion Vanguard, 1 and a black, 2/2. 1 and you sacrifice another creature. This explores. Huh. Interesting card. if it didn't cost 1 and it cost 0, I think that this could be super interesting, in particularly because we already, like as I was saying earlier, I'm already talking about having a sacrifice zombie sort of deck going on. So very disappointed that this actually costs mana to sacrifice, but you know, close. All right, there we go. This is the big one. This is the one that actually could see play in Amulet. So let's talk about it. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, legendary land. Every land is a forest, besides, in addition to its other land types. I think this one is going to be interesting. I think that having the first copy is going to be good. At the same time, I think that, particularly with how good I believe that Ursa Saga is going to be in Amulet, I don't know if we're just going to have a room for this one. Like, I assume that we're going to have to play less basic forests in order to make room for this, which I'm not super excited about. But like, the upside is obviously there, right? Urborg for forests is obviously there. The upside is obviously there, particularly because just by design, the Amulet mana base is kind of a mess. So having all of your lands be able to tap for green would fix a lot of issues. It would also make things easier while activating Castle. It would make it so basically like any land with would activate Castle, and it would also make Castle enter untapped. So both of those, like the Castle synergies, are very, very solid there. You can use this in Titantron. Yeah, you can use this in Titantron to make sure that you can cast your stuff. And yeah, I think that this is obviously not great with Blood Moon, as people are saying in chat right now. And we would need to potentially cut one of our basics in order to make room for this, which I'm not super stoked about. But the upside is there, and the first copy is probably fine. So I think that we'll probably play exactly one copy of this card and no more than that. Still worth talking about and definitely worth testing. Territorial Kabu, red green. Domain, its power and toughness are equal to the number of basic land taps among lands you control. When it attacks, you choose one, you discard a card. If you do, you draw a card. You exile up to one target card from a graveyard. So 2 mana 5/5 with Triumphs, and with the Draco guy, and with Tribal Flames. Yep. Seems good. Seems good. Probably a better Goif. Yavimaya, Flagstone's Knight of the Reliquary. Yeah, that's an interesting synergy. Non-bleeding Dryad to be able to sack. Yeah, you're right, Pikes. That's a good synergy. Do I buy for Ursa Saga? You do with your money whatever you want, baby. I know. You do with your money whatever you want. All I can tell you is, if you want to support the stream for free, if you want to buy your Ursa Sagas, you can go to DCG Player and you can support the stream by using that link that you see right there. Vesuva can enter untapped and you can tap it for green. Yeah. That's no joke, Stabs. Honestly, that's definitely no joke for sure. Like there are some upsides for this card. That's why I'm considering doing it. Herd Baloth, 3 green. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on Herd Baloth, you may create a 4/4 green beast creature token. Seems good in draft, I guess, if you have some +1/+1 synergies. 5 black for 5. When it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponent control get -2/-2 at the end of turn, and for 3 black, you get to unearth it. It's a sweeper. Dermotaxi, that's a funny name. 2 artifact vehicle. When it enters the battlefield, you exile a creature card from your graveyard. Okay. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control until end of turn. Dermotaxi becomes a copy of the imprinted card, except it's a vehicle artifact in addition to its other types. Huh. Huh. So You exile your Primeval Titan, or your Grave Titan, and then you use some tokens to activate this and swing at your prime time, and you get your attack trigger on turn 3. So we need some Raise the Alarms, Lingering Souls, stuff like that, and we need a way to discard Primeval Titan on turn 1. Get going, get those brewing juices flowing, chat. Yeah, probably not gonna see any play at all. Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer, 1 red for a 2/1. Whenever legendary creature, Monkey Pirate, of course. Whenever Ragavan deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and exile the top cards of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card. So 1 mana 2/1 that draws you a card and nets you a mana. Fuck off, man. Really? One mana. Dude, remember Savannah Lions? Remember Savannah Lions? That was like a good card, right? That was a good card back in the day. To the point where red could not have Savannah Lions because he would be too strong. So instead we had Shacklepup. And not only we had Jacklepup, but we won by beating down with Jacklepup. We won. Like, we were happy to put Jacklepup in our deck. That's ridiculous. Like, this card is everything that is wrong with Magic. So, scenario, okay? Scenario. Turn 1, Ragavan. Opponent goes turn 1, tapped land. You go turn 2, attack. You extend the hand. You extend the hand across. I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm trying to figure out why is the question that comes to mind, right? Why? Why? Why does it give you a treasure token? It also has dash? Yeah, sure, whatever, man. But like, I mean, the big deal is that you can play this on turn 1. Dude, what the hell, man? What the hell? Why? You know what the funniest part about this is? Like, let's say that you are playing 4 copies of this in your deck, because you have to play 4 copies of this in your deck. And let's say your opening hand is 1 mountain and you have 4 of this in your opener. You just keep, and it's an insane hand. Like, it's a sick hand. Not only because they're gonna kill it and you have a backup copy, but because if they don't kill it, you don't care, because you're using all the mana you're generating to cast your opponent's card. So like, you don't care. Like, this just actually gives you card advantage. Regardless. At least it says cast, so you cannot play your opponent's lands, okay? So it's fair. So it's fair. It's fair because you cannot play your opponent's lands, so it's fine. Guys, it's fine. Folks, don't freak out about this. We're fine because we cannot play lands off of it, okay? We only get a Lotus Petal, but we can play lands. We can't play lands off of it, so it's fine. Dude, like, what the hell? I also love that, like, the way that this worked out. This is like the last card that we get to talk about, so I just get to talk long and tender about how much I hate that this card exists. Just literally no downside. Like, just everything is upside. Why did it have to be a 2-1? Why did it have to be a 2-1? So you just kill your opponent quickly and you take them out of their misery a little bit faster at least? Oh, there's new ones. That's cool. Alright, yeah, I'm really upset about this card existing. Like, this is ridiculous. I think this is so far the best card in the set now. This is better than Grief. This is better than Grief. Remember Nissa? Remember Nissa and how people complained about how quickly Nissa, the 5-mana Nissa would snowball out of control? How about turn 1 Nissa? How about turn 1 Nissa instead of turn 5 Nissa, turn 4 Nissa or whatever? Nice, nice. Amoeba. 3 blue. This of course is a callback to Aquamoeba, a card near and dear to my heart. It's discard enabler. Let's go. Glorious Enforcer, 5 white, 5/5. Flying lifelink, an angel at the beginning of each combat. If you have more life than an opponent, this gains double strike at the end of turn. Ha! Ha! Ah, that's pretty cool. It seems really fun in limited, where you can never ever raise this. Archmage with all border. This looks sick. This looks so sick. Wow. Yeah, this seems like an insane Reanimator playoff. Reanimator payoff, sorry. This looks so good in all border, man. And now I am kind of tilted that this is not exactly in the center of the card. I never noticed that the art was slightly tilted to the right. It bothers me. The OCD is just getting annoying right now. 3 mana, 2/1 flying. When it attacks, you control 3 or more tokens. This gets +2/+0 against first strike until the end of turns. It's bad. 2 on a red, 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 Thopter with flying. So far, so good. Like 3 mana, 2/3, and you get a 1/1 flyer. Tap, sacrifice an artifact. You choose one, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Probably not good enough to see play, but you can sacrifice tokens to draw cards, which is never something to underestimate. Anyway, so 4 blue and red for a 4/4. Delirium. When it enters the battlefield, you choose one. If you have 4 or more types of cards involved in your cemetery, you can choose both. When it enters the battlefield, you do 4 points damage to anything, to any target. Oh, this is Prophetic Bolt. That's cute. That makes sense. Now the prophetic thing makes sense now. So it's a 6 mana 4/4 Prophetic Bolt if you have Delirium. This seems really good in limited. This seems extremely good in limited. I really want to open this in limited now. Invasion of the Giants. Play this for 4. GG's. All right, that's gonna be it for this. Yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people started off by saying, you know, this was looking a little bit too commandery and stuff like that. And to be fair, it was kind of looking that way before yesterday. It was kind of looking like it would be, you know, kind of commandery in a way, particularly with cards like this one. And like this one is just a waste of a mythic slot. Like this card is just terrible, right? But it was looking kind of commandery. After yesterday, they just threw everything out the window. Now this set looks incredibly busted. It really exploded between yesterday and today. Like this seems very strong. This seems super strong. This seems like it can potentially spawn some archetypes. This seems really good to me. Potentially spawning some new archetypes as well. This seems really strong. The artifact lands, I don't know. This could be strong or could be just bad. I think Suspend is overrated. No discards, but I think this one is it's a low-key. This is a potentially very good enabler, so I think this could low-key be an impactful card. I think this card is going to be messed up. I think this card is potentially archetype defining for elves. I think that well, I didn't want to do that. This card, as I was saying, is either going to be completely broken or it's going to do nothing. And I think this is going to be very good. This is potentially playable. This is going to be really good. It's going to really help the Merfolk deck. This is going to break the format in half. This is going to be really heavily played. This is going to be super strong. This is going to also kind of break the format in half. And well, the monkey is just upsetting, honestly. I'm pretty excited, honestly, to have access to a Reanimator strategy. Like the fact that, and I really like the design of not being able to reanimate legendary creatures, because reanimating Grist is like the most boring thing ever. Like reanimating Grist is just, it's such a cheaty thing to do, right? Like it's just so obvious. It's just so silly and stupid. But they are pushing Reanimator in a way. They're pushing Reanimator in a way that makes it actually interesting, and it makes it like you can interact a little bit more with the strategy. Yeah, the non-legendary clause seems very much on purpose to prevent people from just doing the obvious thing with Reanimator, which I love, because it's going to force people to, you know, think a little bit outside the box in a way. So really happy that this card is printed. I think this card is I hope that this card is great. I'm not sure that it's going to be insane or anything. Really cute to have access to these cards back in the format. Some people are going to be doing some brewing, myself included, and they're going to fail miserably, but they're going to have some good fun. I think this card could potentially be very good. I think this card could potentially be very good. I'm going to be playing with this card a fair amount for sure. This card is just this card is unreal, honestly. Like the more I think and I look at this card, the more upset that I get. Yeah, that's kind of it. But yeah, okay, so I'm pretty sure that this, we have not seen Hogak yet. But this is Ursa. We have not seen Hogak yet, but this is definitely Ursa. This is Ursa power level, if not higher. So, like, it's not Thrasta is Hogak. Yeah, strong disagree. Yeah, this set, it's looking very promising now in terms of breaking the format in half. Honestly, this is closer to Hogak than Thrasta in my opinion. Yeah, we're only halfway through spoilers. That's a big deal. Like, we only have 150 cards so far. But yeah, this set is very, very promising. So I guess that when we have the other half, I'm probably gonna do another episode like the one that we're doing right now. I've been talking for 2 hours nonstop about all of these spoilers, so hopefully you enjoyed it. I didn't get bored and just like turn it off halfway through or something. But I had a good time. Familiarizing ourselves with the cards, I think it's gonna be very important now. You know, just kind of having an idea of which cards are gonna be broken, how to approach the format and everything. Gracias. So yeah, looking forward to the other half of the spoilers. Like this set is looking a lot stronger. Said all of a sudden this is looking a lot stronger than it looked a couple of days ago. Discard a card, create a 0/3 blue craft token. Crafts you can, yeah, okay, this is terrible. Never mind. So not a particularly interesting card there, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave that a comment down below and you let me know what you liked or what you didn't like, so I can hopefully improve things for the second part of it, of this Modern Horizons 2 spoiler kind of like rundown. And yeah, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye, folks.